So in the last video, we showed you how to create the CSV file and then make sure it's organized and then upload that CSV file into the CRM, map those fields, and make sure that it's put onto a smart list, etc. This video is going to be going over how to create a smart list from contacts that are already existing in the database. So we've got a database here, and let's say that I'm a life, Medicare, and health insurance agent, and I've been tagging my contacts properly. Let's go over tagging very quickly. If I click on a contact's name right here, over on this left-hand panel, down the bottom, there's the action section, and you've got the tag area, and I can add or remove tags here. And let's say we've got a final expense product that we sold this person. Right, so we tag it with final expense. And now we've got an additional tag on that person's name. I'm going to go back to that main list right here. And you'll notice these all have 2 plus 1, and this one's got 2 plus 2, and it's Medicare and final expense. So if I wanted to do that in bulk and I don't want to open up multiples, let's say I know I sold Jermaine and Kevin and Fran final expense policies also, I just forgot to tag them. Then I could bulk tag them. I'm just going to, anyone that's checked off, and we're going to go to add tag. And we're going to add that tag again, final dash expense. Select that tag, and then just type in an action note and click submit or add. So now those will get tagged with the final expense tag as well. So you can see it's 2, 2, and those now have that final expense tag. So how do we create a smart list from scratch? So the first thing we need to do is, right here is your manage your smart lists right at the top. But over on the right hand side, we've got more filters. And this is how we segment out the database for whatever search criteria or filter criteria that we want. So let's say we wanted to create a final expense list. I would click more filters. Now that is a tag, so we're going to select the tag option right here. However, you could create a list or a filter list based on any of these items, right? So any field in the database, you can create a filter for that. All of your custom fields, your questions, etc. They're all in this drop-down list, so you can select anything we want. For this training, we're just going to select the tag one, and we've got a couple different options, and this is Boolean, right? So this is not, is empty, is not empty, or any of these. We're going to say, okay, we're going to want the final expense. The tag is final expense. So we just choose that. And then down in the bottom right-hand corner, can't really move that circle right there, but click apply. And now if I minimize this, you'll see that they're the 4 people that have got the final expense tag on there. But that's not creating a list. This is just a filter. So we want to actually create a smart list. So we're going to go back into more filters. And if you notice down the bottom, it has save as a smart list. So I'm going to click save as a smart list. And I might want to name this FEX or final expense. So click save. And now up at the top, it created a brand new smart list. And these are just the people that have purchased final expense from me. So now, why is this helpful? Now what you can do is you can send a notification out to all of these people. So you can send a text message, send an email out to every one of them, and it'll just carbon copy or blind carbon copy the message off to every single one of them. So that's a good policy update. Wish them happy holidays, whatever, things like that. So let's send an email. And this is a bulk email. And you would just either select an email template if you've got the premium or pro version, and then type in your name, your email address, the subject line, and whatever it is. And if you wanted to include a URL, let's say a link to your website or something like that. And we're going to put this behind a link. So here's a link right here. And this will make this a clickable link. You can also add an image right there. You can do some formatting. So if I want to make this bold, I can make it bold. If I want to make it a larger typeface, then make it 14 point, etc. Don't like that font, you can change it from Verdana to, Arial Black. Okay, so this is basically how you do it. Now, trigger links. We're not going to get into trigger links a little bit later. We'll get into trigger links a little bit later, not in this training. But I do want to cover custom values. So what are custom values? Custom values are database fields that you can pull in to templates or emails like this, bulk emails. So if you wanted to pull in their first name, it'll pull their first name right there. And then if you wanted to add your signature, I'm going to increase this right there, just grab that little corner. I'm going to hit end and go down to the bottom. And let's say the next custom value I want to do is the user, my signature. And it'll automatically append my signature and the first name of the contact. So you've got Jonathan and Jermaine and Kevin and Fran right there, right? So it'll pull in the first name and send them a unique email for each one. So now we can have an option of send it all at once, send the email at a scheduled time, send it in drip mode. So I would like to take this opportunity to caution you. If you're using a free Gmail account, there are sending limits. You don't have an unlimited number of emails that you can send per day. So don't select like more than 100 because that's what the sending limit is for the free Gmail account. Now, if you've got your own email servers that you're using, either on Hyros or whatever, if you've got a paid Google Workforce account, then they may have increased sending limits, but you need to check with your individual email provider to really understand what your limits are. And I would stay well under those limits. Just because there is a max limit doesn't mean you should be maxing it out, right? There are reputation management that you should be aware of. Every time you send an email, if somebody removes themselves or hits stop or all those things, unsubscribes, then that gives you a negative reputation score for your email, and you'll start not winding up in the inbox. You'll go into the spam folder, or you'll go under some of the other folders that Google offers, which is what most people use. So you want to avoid that, and just, if as a good rule of thumb, keep it around 40 or 50 a day. That's probably a good rule of thumb. Your action is just a little description. It's just a demo. And then you can send it all at once. I'm going to send this in drip mode. And I'm going to have it start today. So today's November 14th. I'm going to start sending at 5 p.m. This is an email, so it's not that big a deal when it goes out. And then batch quantity. If I had a larger list, let's say of 300 people, I would do 40, and then I would do 40 per day. Now, you can also do the math and say, okay, I only want to send 40 a day, but I want to send them out 10 every hour. So I'm going to repeat every 1 hour, but I'm only going to have it go between 12 p.m. and let's say 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. So that's 4 hours of time, and that should only send out 40 a day. So there's a couple different ways, and this is called throttling, that you can make sure you're protecting your email reputation. You do not want to be tagged as a spammer, because then all of your emails will wind up in the spam box, and that's no fun because nobody will read your emails, right? So you have to protect it a little bit. Do not abuse email. And it doesn't matter whether you're using this CRM or you're just using Gmail directly. Make sure you stay well under their thresholds. All right, once you've got all that, you would just click send email, and it would create a batch and then send those every 10. You would send 10 emails every hour on the hour, for 4 or 5 hours, whatever you have it scheduled for. If you don't want it sent out on Sunday, then just click Sunday and it won't get sent out on Sunday. That's pretty much it. If you just want them sent out all the time, it's a small list. You can just send them all at one time or send at a scheduled time. This is, let's say I want it sent tomorrow at 6 p.m. Then I would just select that. There you go. So that might be good for if you're inviting people to an event or things like that. Now, in your signature file, we usually set these up for you, but you want to make sure that in your signature file, you have your first name, your last name, your email address, an unsubscribe option, which we always put in there. And then we also recommend putting a calendar in there as well. So let's take a look at that and make sure that the email is set up. So we're going to go in under settings, and you're going to go under my staff, and then let's clean up trips here. We're going to click edit, and under user information, we've got their signature file right here. So he's got his first name, his last name, his telephone number. He doesn't have his email, so let's put his email in there. The unsubscribe is there, but he doesn't have a link. This is just a demo account, so just make sure you have your unsubscribe link. Now, to stay fully compliant, you should have your full address here. Some people don't like putting their mailing address, so if you just want to put your city and state, that would be semi-compliant, but you do need to put something, right? And this will keep you fully compliant as far as canned spam laws and things like that. The unsubscribe means that you have to give them a way to unsubscribe, and that could be, reply stop to be removed from our list and things like that. But we put out together a unsubscribe on every single client, so you should have this already in your signature file. If not, go ahead and create it or contact me and I'll make sure that it's created for you. All right. Let's get that spelled correctly. And there you go. Click save. And now anything that's using that signature file will be okay to go out. All right. That's basically how you create a smart list and how to send out a bulk email. It works the same way for bulk text message. I will caution you with text messaging. The FCC, Federal Communication Commission, is under a lot of scrutiny right now to stop spam messaging. And insurance has been, let's say, prolific in sending out spam messages or unwanted messages. And what is an unwanted message? Well, go to the TCPA website, and I'll put a link to this in down below. But if you read the TCPA rules, the first thing is if you're going to email, call, or text message anyone, a consumer specifically, then you have to have specific permission on your platform. That is, they've given you permission to send them a text and email, things like that. And that's why on all of our landing pages, we've got opt-ins, right? So on your calendar and things like that, all of those things have opt-ins. And those are really important. So, and you have to provide them an option for opting out or opting in on all emails and text messages. So just be aware of that. And where you can see that on our stuff is if you go in under calendars, one of the options right there is, let's just go under my main calendar right here, and I'll go to edit. And under here, there is a forms and payment. And right here, there is a consent checkbox. And it might not have this exact message. We usually beef it up a little bit and make it a little bit more compliant. But this should absolutely be turned on, and there should be some kind of messaging in that email box to make sure that you are compliant. Okay? And where that shows up is, let's show you where that shows up so you're aware. And go to settings and calendars. And I'm going to just select my calendar over here on the left-hand side. And I'm going to copy this scheduling link. Now, don't send this to people. This is just for testing purposes. So I can show you where it is, right? So here's my calendar. I select a time and a date. And right there is where that message will show up. I confirm that I want to receive content from this company using any contact information that I provide. That's enough to keep you compliant. We beef it up a little bit, making sure that you've got your company name in there, and we mention the modes of communication. So they're agreeing that they're going to be able to receive text messages and emails and phone calls from your company. So we just beef it up a little bit. All right. A little bit more than I wanted to get into on this specific one, but hopefully this will keep you a little bit more compliant and give you an idea of the rules. I'll put down below links to TCPA and the Canned Spam Act so that you're aware of them and you can read them. Thanks a lot. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.